All right, so I got your test done. We'll go through and have a real quick review so that you guys can study up and be ready for your test on Friday. So as of right now, it's 20 questions worth 72 points. So here's what you need to know. You need to know what the law of demand is. You need to know what the definition for supply and demand are. You need to know what a demand table is and a market demand table. We talked about those two things, and they're similar. One is for the individual, one is for the economy as a whole, so you need to know the difference between those. You need to know about equilibrium price. And so far, all of those things have been multiple choice questions. Your first short answer question for the test on Friday is you need to know what factors affect demand. Okay, so when we talked about things that affect demand, we list off like 5 or 6 things. You don't need to know all 5 or 6 of them, but you need to know a handful of them. So 3 or 4 would be a good idea. Your next short answer question is we talked about the things that what causes change in demand. So there was a slide and it went across and there was like 6 things on there. Well, you don't need to give me all 6 of them, but again, 4 or 5 of these factors and you being able to explain them would be advantageous for your test on Friday. Back to multiple choice. Excuse me, back to multiple choice. If my computer will load the question. We talked about elasticity and inelasticity of demand. You need to know about those. And then we talked about some different factors that lead to the elasticity of demand. That's a short answer question, so you need to be able to give me at least a couple factors that affect the elasticity of demand. I'm sorry, my internet's a little bit slow right now, so you got to give me just a second here as it spins and loads as I try and move down the test for you here. You need to know again the definitions of supply and demand. You need to know about marginal product. Your next short answer question is once we started talking about supply, after we got on with demand, once we started talking about supply, there was different factors that affect supply. And so you need to give me at least 4 or 5 things that affect supply, and then, again, explain them. We talked about surpluses and shortages. You should know surpluses and shortages. We talked about competitive pricing. You should know about competitive pricing. We talked about a price system. Excuse me. We talked about characteristics of a price system. It was this slide with the market, like the farmer's market behind it. So you should be able to tell me there was 5 different characteristics of a price system. You should tell me at least 3 or 4. We talked about price ceiling. That's a short answer question. We got a short answer question about price ceilings and price floors. You should be able to tell me what they are and give me a couple of examples of each. You should be able to tell me about rationing. You should be able to tell me about black markets. You should be able to tell me about perfect competition. So your next short answer question is about perfect competition and some of the characteristics that go into perfect competition. Again, there was 5 or 6 of those when we went through it. It was one of the last things well, second hour is like the last thing we went through when I was still there. Fourth hour, it was the thing that we did in notes on Monday. You need to know what a monopoly is. You need to know what cartels are. You need to know what barriers of entry are. So those are all multiple choice questions. You need to know what predatory pricing is. You need to know what regulation and deregulation are. And that's where we'll end up. So your multiple choice, it's mainly multiple choice. Your short answer questions are characteristics of perfect competition, price ceiling and price floor with some examples, characteristics of a price system, factors that affect supply, factors that determine the elasticity of demand, factors for change in demand, what factors affect demand, and that's it. Those are all your short answer questions. So, as we get through, I'll post this. Test is Friday. If you got any questions about anything, email me, Mr. Hafke. If it's urgent, Mr. Hafke has my number. He can call me and get in touch with me so we can figure out anything you might need or anything you might need help with. So just let me know, and I'll be happy to help. All right. Hope everything's going well, and I'll see you soon.